Thank you for joining us. Today we are going to just do a brief update on where things stand from the proposed tax law changes and potential tax hikes that might be coming yet this year. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. My name is John Sluice here with Entrust CPA. I'm going to take some time today to give a brief update on where the new proposed tax law changes, the tax increases, where they're at from a legislation point of view, what to expect from a timeline, and just kind of update where we were. So if you recall, earlier this year we came to you with many of the videos on what appears to be almost imminent tax increases that are coming through. We still see those tax changes. We don't know quite where they're going to go or what they're going to be doing, but we wanted to take a moment and update where they're at from just a procedural point of view. And so I'm just going to start right in there. So kind of give you an update. What it appears to be is that the way the legislation came out in where the House and the Senate have fallen out on their votes and their splits, if you've been following along, is very, very divided and equally divided. And so what we do see and what we are projecting out is that whatever does happen, if it does happen, is going to be quite middle ground, because it is going to be very political, very decisive on what's there. So we don't see anything significant, earth-shattering, rock the boat type of tax laws coming. Now, I say that and say that there's probably going to be some fundamental changes that are going to come through, but the way they're going to be doing it is going to limit what can happen. And so where I say that is on August 24th, the House Democrats passed a $3.5 trillion budget plan. The Senate actually came through on August 11th and passed a blueprint. And we're actually expecting the House and Ways Committee to come out with their proposal this week. So what you are going to notice here is that these things that are coming through, these legislation that's there, it's not actually legislation. It's coming through in the form of an updated budget. And then by doing these updated budgets, they're pushing things through that they want to politically. But because of that, they have to make sure that it's actually fairly neutral across the board. The way that the Democrats have passed it actually is they've proposed it in such a way by going through a budget that they can pass it without any Republican votes. So you're going to hear in the coming media here in the coming few weeks, the Republicans are likely going to be proposing what their plans would be. The Democrats have proposed theirs, but both the Senate and the House, they've proposed it in such a manner that they can do it without Republicans. But because both the House and Senate are so close and so very similar on the Republican versus Democrat, specifically even on the House, that if one Democrat votes the other direction, then you are going to see that it doesn't pass. And so what that means is we do anticipate there are going to be changes, that there are going to be tax increases. Most people would agree with that. I think what you're going to see is that with the way that the House and Senate are, the makeup here between Democrats and Republicans, is that there's going to be a lot of political action that goes on. It's going to be decisive, and they're going to have to pick and choose, and there's going to be cutting and giving and taking that's going to happen here. And so where they've thrown a lot of different potentials out there that we've analyzed, we've talked through, you can see some of the prior videos on those, they're going to have to pick and choose what ones come through, because it's not going to end up having to be the everything in the kitchen sink. They're going to have to pick and choose what they're going to do. So what does that all mean? It means that there's going to be a lot of media about this in the coming weeks. It means that there likely is going to be changes. It's not a matter of if, it's when that's going to happen. And what it's going to mean for you too is that you need to be thinking about doing some tax planning here. But hear me say, don't go and do rash conclusions on this. One of the common things that we see from both the House and the Senate is a consistent feeling that they don't want to change taxes for the worse. In fact, they want to help anyone earning less than $400,000. In fact, the Senate came out with a budget blueprint that they specifically wanted to add in there, that there's going to be coding inside of that promises no new taxes on families making less than $400,000 per year, small businesses, or family farms. In fact, what the wording they used is tax fairness for high-income individuals. I don't know how fair, but what that's pointing to is that anyone below $400,000, small businesses, family farms, they're likely to see a potential savings from taxes that are coming through, and then all the tax legislation is going to come on the high net earners, high individuals, and the corporations. So those are things that we do see coming down the pipeline. We should be talking if you see those. Again, what I wanted to highlight here is that things are progressing. It has come quite slower, and it has hit some stalemates in arguing and negotiating and being political, if you will, through the things because of the way the House and the Senate fell through on the Republican versus Democrats. They're trying their best to work through on ways that they can avoid the politics side of it, but it's just there. And so over the next coming weeks, you're going to see what's coming through. I think one individual likened it like an NCAA bracket, where you know that there's going to be a winner. You just don't know where it's going to be, and there's going to be some upsets. There's going to be some surprises, but there's probably going to be some things that we're all anticipating to be out there. I'm actually going to point, and we're going to have a link to it down below. There is the Northern Trust Institute put out publication a couple weeks ago on where they rank and they see the likelihood of these various tax laws coming in and these proposed tax increases, where they fall. As I go through it, we've looked at many of them. This particular one fits pretty closely with what I think is going to be out there. Again, like the NCAA bracket, there could be upsets. We could be surprised. But if you're looking for a quick guide, it's in there that it ranks down what's the likelihood of things happening. So example, the number one, there's likely going to be an individual increase on the top tax bracket from the 37 to the 39.6. That's probably pretty likely. We also see that there may be an increase in capital gains for those making over $1 million. I don't personally think it's going to go all the way up to the 39% that they're talking about. I see maybe an additional bracket that they're going to add on top of that as we work through there. I actually see also there are going to be corporate income tax rates that are going to go in place. So there's a lot of tax planning that has to be happening, and we should be talking through those. But as we look through and as we see this move and progress through, what we're seeing is that there's going to be a lot on the chopping block. So like your fantasy football or NCAA bracket, things are going to change. There's going to be upsets. There's going to be things that come out that we're not expecting. But you can do a lot of planning with it. We need to be talking from a planning point of view. Don't do anything rash. Don't throw out your bracket just because your number one seed got thrown out in the first round. But at the same time, know that you need to be doing tax planning. Come to us. Let's talk. Look forward to talking to you on that in the next coming weeks. Thanks for joining us.